Guys, Joe McDonough here for MyMMAnews.com. I am joined by Tyler Diamond. Tyler, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Always a pleasure to chat with you, man. Just tell me about, what's going on right now. I know you put out an Instagram post saying the mullet wouldn't be back in August. What are we
Yeah.
looking at right now?
So I had 2 fights in April and June. I had to get facial surgeries after both of them. So I was down for August. I had a little bit more time, but one day I woke up, I wasn't able to walk. So I have to get surgery and get 100% healthy for the first time in my career. So that's what I'm focused on doing while becoming the best version of myself, so that I can win the PFL tournament next year. Because me and a lot of others 100% believe that I have everything it takes to win the tournament. So that's the plan.
Absolutely, and you're one of the highest touted prospects and fighters, and always an exciting person to watch. Talk to me about this year. You signed with PFL before COVID. Obviously, COVID extincted that season. So you kind of had to wait on the sidelines while being signed by PFL. Talk to me about finally getting here. Like you said, having the 2 fights and just being a part of the roster.
Yeah, it was an interesting time for sure, but it was something that I couldn't control. I'm a big believer in focus on what you can control, and I couldn't control the fact that I wasn't fighting. So I took advantage, and I just started making other streams of revenue outside of fighting, which a lot more fighters should be doing. And then I took the 2 fights this year. I took the first one, feeling great, off a great hit. Had to have surgery and had a big decision whether I should have even done the second one. And ultimately, I decided to do it because I believed in myself and I was in shape, even though I wasn't able to train I normally do. It didn't matter to me. I still felt like I had all the skills and the tools to be able to beat anyone they put in front of me, which they happened to put Brendan Loughnane, one of the best guys in the division, in front of me, but it didn't even matter. And so I'm glad I was able to get back in there. I was able to show off my toughness and show that I'm a true threat. I'm one of the best 145ers on the planet on any given day. And it was good. I'm happy with my experience, and that's where I want to be next year for next season. And I just want to get ready to win that belt and that $1 million next year.
Absolutely, and it's so fun to watch you there. We're going to talk about the business aspect in a minute, but talk to me about, like you said, Loughnane, one of the best 145ers there is. This is your first loss since 2018, which was your only loss previously against Bryce Mitchell after the tough season. Talk to me about, lessons from this latest fight.
Lessons from the Loughnane fight specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a couple. So I mentioned previously that I wasn't really able to train how I normally do. So basically all I was able to do, all I was healthy enough to do, was to hit mitts and run. I wasn't able to grapple or do anything. I couldn't jeopardize anything hitting my face substantially. So going into the fight, I was definitely handicapped in that regard. So a lot of my timing was from stand-up was off, and especially my defense, because you got to think I went 6 weeks without working on my defense at all, or at least not working at full speed like I should have been and could have had my face not been compromised. So the things I took away from the fight was just a couple things I maybe should have did different, but again, it's really hard to think in there when you've gotten rocked and you're in the heat of the moment. And it was a super exciting fight. It was a bonus worthy fight, a bonus that I still haven't gotten yet from PFL. So if anyone ever watches this, that'd be much appreciated for that performance that me and him put on. But yeah, there's lots of takeaways. Not to be too specific, but the overarching theme is that I could have maybe adjusted a little bit better in there in real time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And talk to me. I want to talk to you about when I think of businessmen that are fighters or fighters that are businessmen, vice versa, whichever way. The 2 people that come to mind is yourself and James Krause. Now, just talk to me about
Yeah.
Being, having so much to balance, and also kind of like you said, you think more fighters should get into, owning businesses or making investments and things like this that you and Kraus have done.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, fighting is hard, and it's a very hard way of making a living. And there's only the top 1% that actually make enough money from fighting to be able to sustain them and their family. And a lot of money we make is through sweat equity, and a lot of that gets taxed. A lot of that goes to your management companies and your teams, etc. So, man, you got to have these other revenue streams, and it's 2021. There's all kinds of businesses and business models out there that you can do that still allow you to have the ample amount of time that you need for training, for family, etc. So, man, I'm always encouraging guys, like, hey, if there's something that you can do that helps you out financially to where you don't have to stress about money while you're training in fight camp, etc., you got to do it. You got to at least go for it.
Mm-hmm. And now, last one for me here, Tyler, is just if you could pick one thing that would be the smartest investment for a fighter who's trying to, who say watches this or looks at what you do, looks at what James Krause does and some other fighters, and says, you know what, I'm going to do it. What for you is one of the smartest things to do?
Find what you're good at, or find your niche, or find something in the marketplace around you where there's a glaring need. Find that and try and exploit that. So just my example, I never dreamed about owning a meal prep company ever in my life. Now that I have one, it's awesome and it's great and I love it and I'm passionate about it. But the reason why I got into it wasn't because it was my dream, because I saw a need in my community. I saw something that would not only benefit a lot of people, but allow me to effectively run a business, which is something that I've always wanted to do, and something that would allow me the financial freedom to train without the stress of money anymore. So that's why I got to it. I found a need in my community, and I exploited that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. I can't wait to see you back healthy PFL next season. Tyler, always a pleasure, man.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Always good talking to you, brother.